What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Girl Dating Podcast with two girls and their dad. We have me, Kanaya, my sister, Kiani, and my dad, Marcel. This is a weekly podcast that we're coming to you every week to talk about anything and everything girl dating. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy.
All right, y'all,
let's So today we're focusing on the differences between my daughters. So we titled this episode Blueprints, Not Duplicates. And I want us to emphasize the importance of fathers who have multiple daughters, recognizing each daughter's identity, each daughter's uniqueness, and then encouraging each daughter to pursue her individual greatness. All right, that was always my modus operandi as a father, to use the firstborn as the blueprint for how the secondborn should kind of carry herself and govern herself, without requiring the second and subsequent ones to be just like the first one. So I don't want children to be duplicated, but I want them to follow a blueprint for success and being extraordinary women. So that was what I wanted to do with you all. And throughout this podcast, I'm sure you will tell me how successful I've been. So I want to start with Kanaya, again, being the older of the two. Tell me how you believe my parenting has helped you be the top star big sister that you are.
I think one of the biggest impacts was definitely how you feel about your older sister. I think that having someone that you feel has been successful in life, has done the things that you want to do in the way that you want to do them, is very helpful. I think that watching you try to learn from her was also inspiring to me, because I wanted to be someone that Kiani learns from. And even like my other mentees that are girls that I consider like my baby sisters, to be able to come to me and ask questions, advice, even if it's just how I handle a situation. But I think there's just an innate expectation, so to speak, of being the older child that I kind of could see with your parenting and with mom, that, you know, there was an expectation of me simply because there is a number two.
Yeah, and so, it's funny you should say that, because I don't think I've understood the depth of the value of me having an older sister, how that impacted my parenting, until you just mentioned it. I think the world of my older sister. Again, she's my hero. I always wanted to be like her, in the ways that I could. And so, I wanted you to do great things, because I know you have the genetic disposition to do great things. I also understood that my older sister is awesome. So I know what it's like to have a terrific older sister, and that's what I wanted for Kiani. But I don't think I ever gave much thought to helping you to develop that. So I think you kind of picked up on that organically. The other ironic part about it is both your mother and me are secondborns. Mm-hmm. We have older siblings. Now, she has an older brother, but we can relate to Kiani in that realm, of trying to follow an older sibling who has set such a high bar. So I didn't really give that much thought until you mentioned it a few seconds ago.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much where it started, and then it kind of grows as you get older. I think it was different when we were kids, and it was just kind of like, oh, we play with toys and we have a good time and we like ice cream and TV shows like Barney and things that are just for 8-year-olds. But now that I just finished my teens, Kiani's in the middle of them. There are more, I don't want to say pressing, but there are more significant events occurring in life now that, you really would like to have somebody that you can ask. I did not. So, and even though I have a plethora of aunts and cousins, it's different when it's been 10 years since or 20 or 15 or whatever, since they went through something versus, I just left my teens, in 2023. So I think that I try to be what I didn't have or what I wish I had as I'm getting older for her so that she can make less mistakes or different mistakes than I made. And the things that did work, that she can do those things however they fit into the life that she desires for herself.
Kiani, what are your thoughts about being the younger child under my parenthood, under your mom's parenthood, and how we have helped you become the young lady that you are today?
Being the younger sibling in general, like I've said a bunch of times, I kind of have the benefit of some of the things that I'm doing already have happened. So I have the benefit of going through certain things. You already knowing, oh, well, we went through this Kanaya, so we kind of know how to approach it and how to do different things. Like you just said, with you and mom both being second born, like I don't really like think about that as much since you have another younger sibling. But with you all being the younger sibling of someone, you all kind of have the mindset. I don't want to say the mindset, but the idea is that the experience of not having so much pressure on you because you're not the oldest, but still in a way kind of feeling like you have to measure up because there are people in front of you.
For sure.
And so I think that ties into how I'm growing up and becoming a young lady, just that like naturally in life you have expectations and you have standards that you have to meet. But when you have a sibling who, like Kanaya, has done so many great things, there's always the mindset of like, okay, yeah, I'm meeting the standard, but like, or I'm doing something different, but am I doing what they want me to do, seeing how my sister did it? So like, and this is like with testing and going to an academic center, like, yeah, cool, like I'm in an academic center, but like, I'm not going where you went to high school. And in terms of like things of that nature, I mean, like, there is a little more prestige, I want to say, to the school you went to than the school I went to. And then there are things that I do now, whereas like, I don't want to go into more so corporate America. I'm like, you want to start a business, you want to be the head of a company, you want more so wealth and fame, and I don't want those same things. So it's always a constant mindset of, okay, yeah, this is what I like to do, but like, are my parents going to see my accomplishments, or are they going to have as much weight as yours do, considering you have more, I want to say, academic accolades, where I have more artsy accolades?
Well, I can speak from experience, again, chasing a sister who was a trailblazer academically. I mean, my older sister is in the top 3 of the most intelligent people walking the earth, in my opinion. And so, no, seriously, I mean, I think Marquita is beyond the boundaries of intellect. I mean, she's just an extraordinary woman. And so that she was the person I was always chasing. And so, she would get good grades. And so, and a lot of that comes from our mother. My mom was very deft on getting good grades, on making sure we weren't slacking off in school, making certain that we were pretty much setting the pace for our classrooms. So, when my sister would bring home straight A's, then I knew I had to bring home straight A's. Not because necessarily my mom reinforced that I needed to be like her, but because, maybe it was sibling rivalry. I didn't want my sister to do things and get credit or get recognition that I wasn't going to get. And so once I saw it was an effective formula for her, I wanted to emulate that. And it wasn't until I became an adult when I realized how much of an impact my older sister has had on me in terms of things that I strive to accomplish. And so I understood the power of a role model for you. But before you got here, I still wanted Kanaya to be on on a path where she was going to do extraordinary things with or without a younger sibling. And so I did set high expectations for her because she needed them in order to be the best version of herself. When you came along, then she had the added responsibility, and I use that word on purpose, of being a good role model, because I understood the power of siblings being good peer role models for one another. And so what I think you've done, Kiani, and by no means am I expecting you, and your mother isn't either, expecting you to be a cookie cutter, to fall into a pattern that Kanaya has done. What we do expect of you, as we have expected of her, is to be the absolute best version of your unique self. And so, yes, we want you to get good grades, but I've always said, if you try your absolute best, that's all we can ask for. And sometimes your best may not be good enough for you to get to where you want to be. And you ladies have heard me compare it to, if you're riding, or if you want to get on a roller coaster, if the sign says you have to be this tall and you're only this tall, well, yeah, this tall is the best you can do. Your best isn't good enough. That's okay. Give it some time. Eventually, you'll get to this point where you can get on the ride. So as long as you two do your best, we can't complain about that. Now, we know when you're slacking, because we know how intelligent you are. But if you've given your 100% best effort and it hasn't given you the outcome you want, then you've learned something and you can be better prepared to try again the next time.
I will say, like, in terms of like falling into a pattern, I will say that, like, I don't think I, in certain ways, have fallen into, like for example, like makeup, nails, hair, like that was a big Kanaya thing. And with Kanaya being so much older than me, and
so much
in terms of like being able to do certain stuff, I mean, like there's certain things, like there's certain things Kanaya.
Okay, all right.
Also,
the age gap feels bigger when you're in a certain space of life.
Yeah, like now that she's like almost out of college and I'm, almost out of high school. I mean, like there's such a different point in your life. So it's just like I look up to some of the things that Kanaya does and that she is able to do and how she does them, like how she handles college, and like with it not being a so structured environment to the point where, like, okay, well, you have to be at school, and so just making sure you're at school, making sure you're at class. Like if she wanted to, she didn't have to go to school. That's the money, and that's gonna get you in trouble. But I mean, how she is handling adulthood. So I try to not put myself in a situation, but I always kind of, it's like almost like when movies have sequels, you want to make, you like, nobody wants to see a sequel and like, or I shouldn't say nobody, but like there are times when you see a sequel and it's like, I don't even know how they made the sequel. The first movie was great. Like I'm trying to have a High School Musical experience. Like the movies just kept getting better as the movies came out. Granted, it's only two of us, but just trying to make sure I'm living up to my own expectations and making you all proud at the same time. I feel like that's one of the bigger things I have as being the younger sibling. But I'm gonna keep saying it. I don't have the experience, the responsibility of putting the steps forward. So I'm gonna let you do that, okay? Because you got it, okay?
And part of my job, is to help you understand and accept the reality. We're not expecting you to be like Kanaya. We want you to not be like Kiani. We want you to be Kiani, and whatever that means. From the moment I met you, from the moment I met you, you've been different than your sister. I mean, literally from the moment I met you, the day you were born. So, and just watching you be different from her is a source of joy for me, because it means I'm going to experience things I didn't experience with her. I get to react to things I didn't get to react with her. I get to say things and share things to you and with you I didn't get to say and share to and with your sister. So helping you embrace the bigness of your personality compared to your sister, who doesn't get her energy, who doesn't draw energy from people, but you do. And so the challenge for me, was helping you to navigate that different personality, while also putting boundaries around that personality so you understood there was safety even when you were being big. With your sister, I didn't have to worry about so much those boundaries because she was going to stay close to the vest anyway. With you, yeah, you're a bit more adventurous. You're a bit more, you're not a bit more, you're a lot more outgoing, a lot more gregarious. And that's fine. That's not a knock on your sister. Again, you two are different young ladies, and that's how the Lord created you to be. So my responsibility was to nurture that, was to feed that, was to encourage that without making either of you feel that I'm disappointed because you don't act like the other.
I mean, I think that the plus is also I don't expect Kiani to be the same person. And I think that us embracing those differences, therein lies the sisterhood
Mhm.
because it keeps it healthy. Because there are times that we know the other person's not going to do this or want to do this or experience this or feel this way about this particular thing. And then there's a lot that we do together that we have a lot of fun, make great memories, you know, we act a fool on a regular basis, might I add. But I think it keeps us healthy because we do have those boundaries of we are our own people. But I definitely think that if anything, my accomplishments are harder to get because I'm getting it out the mud. You know, you kind of know Kanaya did that, don't do that.
Yeah.
Or Kanaya did this, do that.
Mm-hmm.
And you know earlier than I did.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not in that situation, you know, at all. Like even with our schooling, yes, I skipped a grade, but my life has been on speed mode since then. You went to academic center, so you essentially went to high school a little bit earlier. So when you get to college, because of having more credits earlier, college is going to be different for you because you won't be starting at square one. I'm okay with that because I feel like I don't need to go any quicker with my situation. I'm okay with where I'm at. And so I think just being okay with those differences is what keeps the sisterhood intact the most.
Yeah. Speaking of our sisterhood, I can definitely say like how we interact, not even just as sisters, but like in a way as friends. Like I've reached a point now, especially that I'm older, where we can connect and have moments to ourselves that don't end in bickering. Like we can be in each other's space and just coexist and not bother each other. Like I mean, there's times where like when you visit home and stuff like that, we'll be in each other's rooms and we'll be laughing, kikiing, and other things of that nature. But when it's time for one of us to get out, we're like, okay,
Hey,
time for you to go.
time for you to go.
Yeah, but we've gotten to that point now. And I mean, just feeling like even when we were younger, we had those moments like when you would watch TV. I just like being in your room and watching TV. Like there was a show that would come on. I'm saying late at night because at that time it was late, but it would come on like 8:30, and it was just like this wedding show, and you would watch it in your room, and you
I remember this show.
had a day bed at the time, and so you'd be like, yeah, you can come in, you just gotta sit at the end of the bed. It's like cool. I don't care. I'm gonna be in your room. So I would sit there, and I'll never forget. I would always fall asleep watching it. And you would always tell me like, okay, you're getting sleepy, just go to bed. And I'm like, no, I'm not sleepy. I'm fine. I'd be falling asleep on that railing, one eye open because I just didn't want to leave your room. So I just like I've always, since I was young, just always wanted to be around you and very much in your space because you're just that type of person that like I want to be around. And like it's a good be around because like with you being my sister, you always have my best interest at heart. So I never have to worry about something happening to me or you being like, oh, well, I'm kind of got some beef with you, so I ain't gonna do this. Like, even if we are at odds, you always have my best interest at heart. So I think that's another part of why our sisterhood is so good. Because we just always like this. So I just, yeah.
So Kanaya, when did you, I mean, I imagine the first 3 years, you know, you have very few, if any, clear memories. You know, when your sister came, obviously there was a shift. There was a shift for me because now I had two people to whom I had to give parental attention. I couldn't flood you with all of my love and all of my attention. I had to now give some of that to your sister, but while also making sure I gave you 100% of me, I gave her 100% of me as well. But obviously when when I had her, I could not be as attentive to you. And one of the reasons why I also made sure you got involved with taking care of her was so, I had an extra set of hands. So whether it was carrying a diaper bag, whether it was going to get bottles, getting you involved with helping with your younger sister.
Yes, he was a young lady.
Was important, but it also was a way for me to bring the two, help you two bond. Tell me, when did you sort of turn the corner, you think, that into a space where you embraced the responsibility of being the older sister?
First of all, I have no memories from when we were kids. I have a split second memory when mom was pregnant with her, but that's about it. I feel like that probably happened I'm 20, probably in the last 3 years, probably.
Oh.
Wow.
Because I think when you're kids, yeah, I'm the big sister, but the relationship lies within the unit, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we are older, and particularly I don't live in the same home, it's different because the sisterhood is independent of the family household unit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that, so when you call me about things and you need help with something or just want to talk about something, I'm not at home, so you have to text me or FaceTime me or whatever to get my opinion or whatever I need to say about it. But it's still 3.5 years between us, so I feel like when I started to go through certain things, you were still a kid, so you were just like, I don't understand, this doesn't make sense. When you started to go through those same things and I kind of saw, okay, she's getting it, she's understanding why I don't like this or why I do things this way or whatever the case may be, and we could start having actual conversations about things and not just, okay, I don't like what you're doing, so I'm gonna go tell on you.
So you guys, you kind of had to wait for her to mature.
Yeah, I had to wait for her to come into her own as a young lady, as a young girl, as she got older. And then when we were younger, I feel like we didn't spend nearly as much time together. I feel like we were doing activities that were, even when we were dancing at the same studio,
You never had class?
I'm in one class and you're like 3-4 levels behind me with your age group.
Yeah.
We were in choir, I knew a lot of the older girls and you were friends with a lot of the young ones. So we would be separated even though we were at the same place.
Right.
We have a younger cousin who you used to spend a lot of time with her, and I was kind of just the caretaker. So if we were at somebody's house, I'm just in the bed with y'all to make sure nobody goes off the side.
Indeed.
While both of y'all had a foot, elbow, something inside of my back, my side, whatever. But when we got older and it was just like, now you can do things with me, that's when the sisterhood changed. So we really hope you guys love this episode. Tune in next week for the next episode. Thank you guys so much. Continue to watch and tune in every week. Thank y'all. Have a good one.
Bye.
Deuces.